What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be talking about in this update is a little bit of the price action that we saw this week, because honestly, it was absolutely crazy. It was exactly what we wanted to see after those weeks of significant red. I think a lot of people are feeling pretty good right now, especially going into the long weekend and coming back into the trading week next week. But we also have to talk about these absolutely crazy short interest numbers that we're seeing on AMC, the cost to borrow, shares on loan, the estimated short interest, shares estimated to be sold short with not only AMC, but also GME as well. In addition to this, we're also seeing some crazy box office numbers already coming out from Top Gun Maverick and the potential for a very significant gamma squeeze coming in the near future, which we are going to be breaking down. And a key note for you guys if you are going to be trading options during these potentially super volatile times going forward. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And again, guys, you have seen the amount of success that people have been having with the strategy revolving around those 1348 crossovers. Follow all the rules, you're going to have a decent amount of success. If you are interested in learning more, getting all of those private live streams, and really taking control of your own financial situation, make sure you check out that link down below to get all of those alerts, all of the trading algorithms, and everything else that we are offering you guys. So AMC closed the day on Friday up 18 basically percent, 17.99, $2.20, $14.43 was the closing price. A little bit green in the after hours, up another 1.25% at $14.61. Now, there are a couple of key things that we're looking for on some of these longer time frames over here. Remember, we've been talking about these 1348 crossovers on the 4-hour time frame for a very long time. Now, what we're specifically looking for now after we see this crossover is some of these closing candles and price action above this 200 EMA to really give us an understanding that the trend is going to be back up and we're not going to just get knocked right back down. Now, the reason why we're looking at this here is because look at exactly what happened the last time and how AMC moves around the 200 EMA and with these crossovers. This one, I think, is a very important illustration of what we do not want to happen. This crossover right here comes up to the 200 EMA, gets knocked right back down, comes up again, gets knocked right back down. So that's why I've been waiting to kind of buy some of these options until we see that type of price action. So when we're looking at the previous time, though, when we ended up getting those closing candles above the 200 EMA here, we went from about $18 to $34 on the halt day. Now, I think a lot of you guys are really starting to take specifically options a lot more seriously. And I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a note before we go into what we're going to see with these potential really, really aggressive price moves. I personally want to kind of warn you guys against trying to diamond hand options. Options can expire completely worthless no matter how green they are at any given time. You could always have the price come back down below the strike that you're buying, and that contract is then worthless. We like to talk about the make it free strategy all of the time, where let's just say, for example, your position is up 100% in an options trade. You can sell half your position, get your initial investment back, and continue to ride the trade risk-free, basically pertaining to that initial investment. So keep those things in mind going into some of this crazy price action that we are probably going to see over the next couple of weeks. But let's get into this Ortex update over here and the box office numbers we're seeing for Top Gun and the potential for a massive gamma squeeze. So when we're looking at the Ortex data here for AMC, we have a minimum now cost to borrow of 3.34%. Just a couple of weeks ago, we weren't even seeing the maximum cost to borrow at over 3%. Now, on AMC, the maximum is 14.91%. The average is 12.79%, which what we've talked about is it's not necessarily going to force a lot of these shorts out that are already in their position. If they were shorting it from a higher level, they can probably afford to pay some of these cost of borrows unless they get really aggressive like we're seeing with GME, which we're going to take a look at. But what it does do is deter people from entering into new short positions. Because if you're already going to enter at a higher cost to borrow, why do it if the cost to borrow and the trend of the price action is starting to come back up? It wouldn't make so much sense to do that. So our buy orders that are going to be coming in are going to have a little bit more of an effect because there could potentially be less selling volume or shorting volume coming in as this cost to borrow is deterring people from trying to short the stock. Now, we have 23.26% estimated short interest, 173.61 million shares on loan, which is an all-time high. And keynote here, almost 120 million shares that are sold short at the current time. That's insane. Now, GameStop over here, 26.5% shorted, 261% max cost to borrow, 166% on the average. Crazy data over here as well. Now, briefly, I do want to touch a little bit on some of these box office numbers before talking about this gamma squeeze that we are looking at that is actually shaping up very similarly to what we were seeing last year at around this time. Top Gun Maverick still taking breath away with a record 150 million Memorial Day opening, best ever for Tom Cruise. Now, a lot of people were asking us in the streams, well, are these box office numbers and the revenue numbers that we're going to be seeing from Top Gun going to be a catalyst for these movie theater stocks, specifically AMC, to trend back to the upside? In my opinion, it's going to be a little bit of a weak catalyst. We could end up seeing a run. Is it going to be due to these box office numbers? In my opinion, not necessarily. I think these box office numbers, what they're really going to do is serve to really boost up earnings once we get to that time again. I think that's going to be something that we need to see. And having these expectations that we're going to be having all of these awesome movies coming out, generating a lot of revenue, is a very, very, very good thing to see. So even if it doesn't necessarily cause us to have a little bit of a boost up in price action over the next coming weeks, it's still going to kind of filter into the earnings report and benefit us there anyway. Now, let's talk about this situation with the gamma squeeze right now, because a lot of people have been kind of asking about this. Is there potential for a gamma? What are we looking at? So for the calls that expired in the money last week on AMC, there were about 70,000 call contracts. There were only 4,800 put contracts, though, and we were well above max pain. Remember, we like to view max pain as a range in which if we're high enough above max pain, these big institutions, market makers, will start delta hedging these options that they are selling in order to really maintain that directionally neutral status by going out and buying shares and providing that buying pressure coming back into the stock. Now, what we're really looking for here is this June expiration date. We only have 14,000 call contracts in the money right now and 87,000 put contracts. And remember what the price of AMC is at right now? $14.43. I mean, it is very similar in terms of price levels that we were seeing last year, but that's not really the main point here. If we are able to get a lot of these put contracts out of the money, meaning unhedging will occur, buying to close these short-term shorts that these institutions are putting on in order to hedge these contracts that they are selling, puts out of the money, 217,000 call contracts going in the money, which that would happen if we ran through the chain. But again, there's going to be a lot of people trading a lot of these options. So these numbers are going to increase. The potential for this event to happen is pretty high right now, in my opinion, in terms of getting a lot of these options in the money and the puts out of the money in order to see those aggressive moves to the upside. Now, taking a look specifically at the options chain to give us a little understanding of what we're looking at in terms of price levels, you can kind of see here that the volume at the money, in the money strikes is pretty solid for a couple of weeks out. There's 4,900 in open interest at the $14 strike, meaning that's how many contracts are being held. About 10,000 at 15, 5,000 at 16, scrolling out a little bit further, 25,000 at 20. So we do have some key price levels that we need to look out for on the call side. Mainly cracking above 20 would be a key level, getting all these call contracts right here in the money, and switching over here, these put contracts out of the money. So 20 is going to be that little battle zone that we're really going to need to keep a lookout for going over the next couple of weeks, because with the amount of short interest that we have on AMC right now in GME, if we start to see that bear market rally that we were talking about and AMC does something very similar to what we were seeing it do back here when we saw this initial run, in my opinion, it's going to be very, very hard for them to stop this like they did on the halt, just because of the amount of small short covering that we are going to be seeing. It's going to be a lot more than we were seeing previously. So I hope you guys are excited. We have a lot of good things to look forward to, but that is going to wrap up this update on AMC. If you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great long weekend, and I will see you guys in the next video.